So other than the weather, what are some other challenges people in northern communities experience that many of us
Yeah.
would not experience or understand?
I mean, there's a lot of similarities with the North that I think sometimes when we think about, because they're indigenous, we often have, especially in Canada, there's this language that's very divisive that their problems are way bigger and way more dramatic and all these things than the rest of the problems that
Mm-hmm.
we have in the rest of Canada. They have a suicide problem, but we have a suicide problem in the South. It's just that the communities are so small that when
Mm-hmm.
something happens, it seems massive,
Huge.
right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
take Toronto, for example. Like if there were, let's say there's 1,000 suicides every year in the greater Toronto area. If there's 5 in a community of 800 people, that's
Mm-hmm.
massive. And people are like, there's a big problem. But if
Mm-hmm.
there's 1,000 in Toronto, we're like, well, it's just Toronto. It just happened.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's, well, 1,000 is way worse than 5, but because of the numbers, things seem way worse.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the problems that are up north are very similar to the south. They've a high cost of living. Their cost is a lot more when it comes to food, primarily because of the distance that the food goes. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we've got high cost of living in the big cities, suicide crisis, but we've got a suicide crisis here. There's drugs and all those things. So in that area is a lot of similarities. The
Mm-hmm.
difference is the isolation. The only ways in Nunavut to get to these communities is either by boat in the summer or by plane the rest of the
Mm.
year.
Okay.
The weather plays a huge role, and that would be what we would call seasonal depressive disorder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being
Mm-hmm.
inside, being out of the sun, it's extreme. I mean, this time of year in Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, the weather's awful, right?
Yeah.
You want to be inside, so
Yes.
that's a factor. And then two, there are some um, generational challenges, right? Dealing with the issues from the RCMP and the Catholic Church primarily that came in, did a lot of
Mm-hmm.
bad things
Mm-hmm.
within
Mm-hmm.
within my parents' generation. And so we're looking at, 30, 40 years ago, these things still very present in the life of so many people. Um, yeah, and then really just like, what do you hope for? What do you look forward to? Because being
Mm-hmm.
so far away and being in such a small town, I mean, small town problems in the South too is, what do you do on a weekend, right? Where do you
Yeah.
go for fun, right? Like what is a retreat? And in the South, at least we can go to the big cities, we can go to,
Yeah.
a bigger community, whereas up there they don't have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot of government restrictions on traditional ways of life. So
Hmm.
there's a heap of different factors. And I think if we looked at it, very similar to some of the issues in the South.
Yeah.
But I mean, every town, every community has their own unique challenges, and it's just the same as up north.